Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your man Dame DNYDC, host of the Two Mics Up podcast. Back again, my co-host and I, Alisa Middleton, really. I think initially we're in the same place, but in two different ways. Lisa behind scenes, the bars that she was spitting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. At least I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you start and express yourself for yourself because you had me, my wife, we were sitting here in stitches about your joy and your jubilation for what's taking place today.
Listen, I went through all the emotions. The waiting was killing my whole life, right? Was
Right.
anxious. I had mad anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And then when the verdict came down, when the murder charge stuck, okay, I
Mm,
got emotional. Um, because it was like finally justice. So many, and it was a win for us, Black America, because
hmm
we have not seen this type of justice ever, right?
Right.
So we
Right.
know that we have to keep pushing. We have to keep fighting because we want justice for everyone,
Everyone. Yes,
right?
I agree.
So
Right.
we ain't stopping. Well, this ain't a period. You know what I'm saying? This a comma explanation point, because we're gonna keep on fighting and we're gonna keep on going. But what brought me joy? To, what got what got me in my shit was
Go ahead.
when they put the handcuff
Mm,
on old boy, and
indeed.
I thought about what's waiting,
Huh. Ray Ray.
what's on the other side. Because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if anybody in here ever been locked up before.
Yep. Ray Ray in
I
them.
don't know if anybody ever had that feeling when that
Mm.
gravel hit and they said
Mm.
you remanded.
Yeah.
Man, I identified that dumbass look on his face.
Woo. I mean, because he was sitting there like, yo, y'all talking to me. They was reading off the charges. I mean, he was just sitting there dumbfounded, like, yo, who they talking to? Like he was looking around like that they talking to me? I mean, he
Right,
was dumbfounded.
right. And now you got that oh shit look on my
Yeah.
face,
Yeah.
right? Because now I caught joy, like,
Mm-hmm.
and gratitude and all kind of happiness running through me because now I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you in the bullpen right now.
Yeah.
You gotta be transported, booked in, violated, all of
Yeah,
the
boy.
little crevices and nooks and nuts and crannies.
Violated
You
before the
gotta go,
violation.
man. Listen, and you
Woo.
getting ready to go to that cop.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the boys are waiting,
Of
even though we
course.
know he gonna be in PC. But
Still.
that gave
Still.
me. That's what got me all up in my spirit.
I have to agree in that sense. Um, you know, but for me, hey, good evening, Carl. How are you doing? How you
Hey,
doing?
Keisha.
Tisha,
Hey,
how you
Paul.
doing? Thank you for joining us. Um, you know, I have to agree with you that didn't really hit me first, like your joy.
No, that was last. But
Right, right, okay, and it really was, and it's really become more so. And like just knowing that justice finally prevailed, but it's not over. We're far from done.
right,
But for me, um, this kind of going back, this really was the inception, you know, of Two Mics Up.
that is
Our meetings and what we had going on Friday night.
yes,
George Floyd
yes,
situation taking place.
yes.
I did try to reach out to Bernard. I was trying to see if he would be able to join us tonight. Our second episode in season one, we talked about enough and we went into detail, about George Floyd. And for me, excuse me if I get a little emotional, it kind of culminated for me now. Here it is, a year later,
Mm-hmm.
everything that's going on, and we're back to this point, and to get some level of vindication
Right.
for him, for his
Right.
family, it's emotional. It was heartbreaking. I was in the shower,
Right.
crying, because it was just so emotional. Just it had welled up inside. But then to now really look at, this is a turning point, hopefully for America. And
Right.
when I say America first, I'm going to say the black community because I am a black man, but for every melanated community, first to realize that you're whether you think you're not black, sometimes in the eyes of the law, just because of the melanin in your skin,
Mm-hmm.
they look at you in that manner. So this is a victory for melanated people, and then even on a bigger level, this is a victory for humanity. And then when I say humanity, I'm hoping that this really charges the white community to really delve and reflect on themselves and how they view and how we have lived this lie, that we're all equal and that we all are afforded the same opportunities. Now this really allows us to push forward not only in our in humanitarian ways, but even in policing now. This sets a precedence too,
Right.
that police can no longer run or hide, behind their badges and their shields. Yeah, yeah. But we have to, again, every small step we have to push to make it a
Yes.
major
Yes. I
step.
I agree.
And I, all of those things really were just, built up inside. And, to be able to sit and talk with you just before we got on, you kind of, cheered me up, the rap game. And, you know, um, hey, you're right. You're right, Carl. And I mean, when I say, by myself, I think that was the first time I think my emotions really caught up with everything. And you're right. Our humanity has finally been validated by an entity that's historically abused and denied it. So I agree with you, and thank you for that, Carl. Um, so that's where I was at. Now I had and talked to my co-host. Got a little brown in my glass. Yeah, right. Trying to shake it
Yeah,
off.
because the whole this whole ordeal has been so heavy, right?
hmm hmm
Even this last few weeks have been heavy.
Yeah,
2020 in itself was heavy.
exactly.
January 6th was heavy. And then today was heavy, but with a little sense of relief.
Yeah,
And I had to go to a place where I could allow myself to revel in
yeah,
this victory. And
yeah.
that place was when the handcuffs were placed
hmm
on Derek Chauvin, and the judge said, "Bail revoked. You're
Yep,
remanded."
yep,
Something
yep.
hit me in my shin now. I was like, I still gotta go on with that
Yeah,
because now imagine what we don't know.
true.
Imagine how many people that he may have placed in jail that is there unjust. Uh, and so we're going to take the weight of our community and put it on because not only was this a win for George Floyd, it was a win for Black
Agreed.
America, and it
Agreed.
was a win for all those cases that got shoved under the rug and no justice was served.
Yeah,
So and I felt relief. Not in, I felt relief in all three because I prayed for all three. But when that murder charge came down, it
yeah,
was like you had the big joker
yeah,
and you
yeah.
just slammed it on the
Bam.
table. Bam!
What? What? Because that's all I was really. I mean, we talked prior, and even I released yesterday. I was telling people, to be prepared because the system has always been designed to undermine us, no matter where, how, and every chance they get.
Right.
And to me, that was really, like you said, that was the big joker. I
The
was
big
like,
joker.
at the end of the day, Lord, if he gonna get anything, give him that.
Right.
I didn't want the heartbreak of him getting the lesser two charges, because we still have to go through the whole, you know, uh, processing and sentencing and the whole appeal process. And I didn't want this man to have any wiggle room. I didn't want him to have any comfort. I didn't want him walking into jail
Right.
feeling like he had accomplished something. You know what I'm saying? Because he murdered a man.
Mm-hmm.
And when it, look, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even hear the first two. I think the TV was on and my wife was doing. I was cooking,
Right.
getting in a. I, all I know is I heard, and on the third count, man, look, it was like being in the Matrix.
Right.
I just stopped and everything just went slow mo. And when I heard that, I mean, I just broke out and clapping, cheering, hooting and hollering. I think that was the most important thing. And man, man, I just got hot. It's hot. It's like reliving that moment again. Just got me all hot. And I mean,
Ah,
just a blessing, to see that, that verdict come in. But I do want to just, touch on it. Anybody else that's here listening, watching, in the chat, what are your thoughts on not only on the sentencing, but moving forward? I'd be interested to hear what you feel or what you think. You know, what does this do not only for policing in America, but us as a black community on the flip side, like what do we do to continue to press this issue? And while we're waiting, for people to chime in if they like, least, I ask you that. What do you think?
I think that the verdict is a beginning.
Right?
Definitely well deserved. We waited a long time for this, but we can't get complacent. We
Hmm.
still need to take a page out of these kids' book.
Indeed.
Hey, Shelly, we
Good
need to
evening, Shell.
take a page out of these young the younger generation book. We need to
Hmm.
keep pressing. We need to keep moving. We can't stay complacent. But I just can't get over my.
No, I agree. I agree. And the only reason why I asked, I just want to make sure that hey Farrah, yes, good evening, and yes, the work is just beginning, and that's where I'm going. I think I don't want us to lose sight with how at times in our joy becomes like a haze, and we get lost by not pressing, the issue, keep pressing the hot topic. We should be joyous in the verdict and everything that's taking place,
Right.
but we should really keep pressing on. And as Michelle, so yeah, the verdict was much needed. I felt like I was holding my breath since May 25th. Agreed, Michelle, and it was a great start. I just don't want to lose that momentum with a lot of things that sometimes we do when we look at, the presidency, and how we helped Biden get into office, through the vote. And I'm glad that he spoke up and said some things today. I hope we hear and see more of him when it comes to the black community. Hey Nikki, yes, hopefully the crooked cops resign and retire with this verdict. Yeah, that's a culture. That's a culture change. That we got to work on that culture to get that to happen. Well, we've got time to heal and begin to work. Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed, Tisha.
Yeah.
Agreed.
We do have to stay focused. We do need to. I want to say we have to, and I'm going to keep saying this because I believe our younger generation is now it's our turn to follow their lead
Agreed.
because they were persistent when the cameras were on or off. They were the lead in this, a
Yes.
young person who has caught the video,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I just was on Carl Armstrong show with another young person who said we owe them an apology
We do.
because when the phones came out, we used to be like, "Get off that phone! What are you doing on that phone? Ain't that supposed to happen on that phone?" And I had to apologize, right?
Hmm.
Because as an older person, we were saying that. But
Hmm.
by the time I unlock my phone to get a capture of a video, the event is probably
Over.
going to be
Right.
over. Or if I can even keep my composure enough to focus and get a good clear picture. So I think that, and then another thing that I want to bring up. Carl and Tisha Armstrong's son said something last night. Correct me, Carl, Letitia, if I'm wrong. I think he's 24, 25 years old. And he said to his dad on the show, regardless of the verdict, I am going out and I am going to be out protesting. But
Mm.
I am going to protest in peace. But if it turns another way, I will fight.
And
And these
that speaks
young
volumes.
children are out in the street, whether the cameras are on or off. They're kept
That's
period in
huge.
major cities. You've seen that you've seen in New York, they got rid of qualified immunity.
Right.
The police the police disciplinary uh records are public record now
Mm-hmm.
because these youngsters are still in the street, so I think that the hey Regina, I was looking for you. I think that the momentum still has to keep going, but
Mm-hmm.
we as an older generation need to follow the lead of these young people. They are not only challenging the status quo, but they're standing up against policies, right? They're challenging policies. He's too much like his crazy dad.
Crazy daddy.
Call,
Yeah.
listen.
No,
I
for
had to
sure.
call Carl last night after that because I was like, oh my goodness. And him and another young gentleman was on and they meant it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we need to kind of reassess. This is not the way that we used to bring awareness and protest. So we need to adapt as an older generation and
Without
take the
question. I
direction.
know we've talked about it. I know I've talked about it, early on. Um, I really believe that we as elders need to learn how to listen, and I'm going to go back to a couple of things because Nikki Mack said exactly what I've said in the past here on our show. We need to give them our wisdom, but we have to be willing to humble ourselves and listen to what they're saying and give them the advice based on our wisdom. Stop telling them like we're their parents what they should or should not be doing. Because obviously, what we did and the times that we're in, it's just totally different. So we need to change ourselves. And I want to come back to that one, Nikki, because I think that's a great point. But I wanted to touch on Carl brought up a very good point as well about the verdict. This verdict it says that there's a precedent now for law enforcement officers to be held accountable for illegal and aberrant behavior. I think this is important that we, like we were talking as we moved along, this has to be a sticking point for all of us to remember and remind even our youth when they're out there, that now there's a precedent that's been uh, established and really work towards pushing that precedent and doing it in a positive way and continue. Like I said, don't turn the cheek now because I think we're at a point we can't even turn the cheek anymore. We've got to be like this. The young lady, my heart and my prayers go out to her for having to, the trauma that she probably went through, this videotaping something that in your mind you never think that you would see in your life. But thank
Right.
God for her being there. We had footage. Thank God for the bystanders being there, calling 911 or 911. Thank God for them to being quick to react. So all of these precedents are there, and I think we have to continue to educate and give our wisdom. And yes, Andrea, the days of old are not the same today. We can only offer guidance and be willing to listen. I could not agree with
Yeah.
you more. Regina, I agree with you. Legal Shield, we need to figure out ways to make sure Regina's a Legal Shield associate. For those y'all who don't, hook up, give Regina a call.
I'm
I'm
about
in
to
that
call
group.
Regina,
Hey,
my type of girl.
yeah, I'm in the group, so check it out. She about really getting some action done, really
Right,
positive. But
right.
these are all the things that we have to do. And Nikki, I want to come back to your point again. So what we can do for the youth, attorneys offer pro bono services, build a bail fund to help get them out ASAP. I think these are things that we've all talked about before, but I think now it's come to the forefront that we really need to work. And I think I've said this to you, Lisa. We need to kind of work instead of like we talk about a black Wall Street and things like that. We need to create, 50 individual legal funds that we have to in every state and build up some type of connection where attorneys we have a network of kind of what we saw today with Ben Crump and his team, that he brought from throughout this country. But we need to have that in each state to help build for our youth, to help serve them when they're out here on these front lines. And for those of you who are interested in Legal Shield, yeah, Regina's out here. She out here in the street. She out here in the chat. There go her phone number. I'll bring it back later on for those y'all who might be interested. We're gonna go ahead, make sure to check Regina out. And I just think that there are ways that we've always talked about, but now is the time to come together collectively. Let's
Yes,
really put our minds together.
yes,
Let's be
absolutely.
serious about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
let's Legal Shield 24.95 a month. All right, Regina, I'm gonna get you on one of our episodes because you out here, you
Right.
got some business going on. We're gonna get you pumped up. Andrea, although officers with body cams, what would have happened if she did not have that 9-minute video? And you're right, Andrea. I think that's a scary thought. You know,
I,
what
mhm.
if she didn't?
We would
You
have seen
know,
the same old, right?
right?
We would have
Exactly.
seen what we have seen in the past.
Hmm.
A snippet, a clip. We would have seen sweeping under a rug, a justifiable. Oh, I feared for my life. The routine. He didn't comply. He was high on
Hmm.
drugs. He's a drug addict. And I just want to say something about um, when it comes to our community,
Yeah.
the um uh the villainizing of
Mm.
people who struggle with drug
Hmm.
addiction.
Yeah.
This is something that has bothered me throughout time, but it really amplified my feelings because um um we use the same amount of drugs as our white counterparts, but we get villainized and demonized for the struggle of uh drugs, that we struggle, people that struggle with addiction. And throughout the trial, that was one thing that just bothered me, because what you're trying to say to the world is that because someone of color is struggling with addiction, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
that they're unworthy, or someone who has a criminal background is unworthy. Um, Martin Luther King struggled with addiction of cigarettes.
Right.
Malcolm X was a criminal.
Right.
If we would have thrown these people away, you know, where would we be? We have to realize that the way I'm even seeing the change in the way the media is starting with this, because they heard the cries of the
Right.
people.
Right.
Stop villainizing us. These
Right.
young kids are going straight up to the news cameras and telling them exactly,
Exactly.
you
Yeah, I
are
love
part of
it.
the problem.
I love it.
You are the ones who are, George Floyd is not on trial, because that was the trend in the beginning. And these
Hmm.
children, I mean, I'm going to say children because they grown people,
Right.
Lord,
The young,
grown, they grown
our,
people, the younger
our
generation.
generation. Yes, I love it.
They were like, no, you're not going to get on TV and call this the George Floyd trial.
Hmm.
George Floyd is dead. Derek
Hmm.
Chauvin trial. And
Right.
that's what made them start changing. Because
Uh,
even I noticed.
well, look, I had the same conversation. I got the same education. I appreciate the young folks, not the young folks, our younger men and
A
women,
generation.
yes, that are coming behind us. And Andre, I did not want to skip your question. I think that's a great question that, to be honest, I don't really have an answer to. So is their policy for body cams in relationship to the time element. I think every state is changing. I believe Virginia is at one point what I knew at one point about 2 years ago, all officers were not fitted with body cams, and I believe they should be, irregardless, and they should be on at all times. And if they're not, I think they should be charged and penalized. I mean, that's a part of their uniform and everything else. Should be some type of penalty for not having it on.
Well,
I
in Stafford County, we don't even have body cameras.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I know, and it's probably different from state to state, jurisdiction to jurisdiction. But I think that's a great question. That's one of those I think I'm gonna hold on to and see what I can find out more about, because that's a great question. I don't know enough about that. Fair, great point. We're human before anything else. This is the source of it. Humankind must be sure human love with all struggles. And I agree, because struggle has no color, has no boundary. We need to learn how to love each other, irregardless of skin color. Thank goodness for drug addiction. Sickness wasn't it? Yeah, you're right about that. Because they tried it. They
Oh,
they they
wait,
tried it with that
wait.
one.
They
They
did sickness.
tried that one.
They
They,
did sickness. Wait, it was sickness. It was the enlarged heart. Now we ain't gonna forget, Farrah, the carbon monoxide.
monoxide, right.
Don't forget the carbon monoxide either.
Right. Exactly, Big Mark. Couldn't agree with you more. It really should be. That should be mandatory.
It
And like I
should
said,
be
I
mandatory.
believe it should be a penalty of any time that thing is cut off or was found to be cut off intentionally, purposely, and not just in someone's death, just period. And
Hmm.
it should be made available to the public uh, on instant. Once this is going down and it's going through whatever internal process, less than 24 hours. I think 24 hours is, if it's more than 24 hours, is too much. We should be able to see this instantly.
Then
And
that's not where we at.
I know, I
They
know.
um they got the boy that was the teenager that was shot in Texas. We're still waiting. The two officers that was on the scene is
Yeah,
asking for the body camera footage. The attorney general, not the attorney general, because he's the one who's holding it up. But there are people that are asking for this footage, and it's being denied for being released.
right. It
Hmm.
should be. And you're right, Big Mark. Again, cannot say that enough. In big bold words, transparency is key. And again, Andrea, you're 100% right. And exactly, that's the key for me when it comes to body cam, any type of video footage or even audio. I think there really needs to be some type of pressure put on so that it really doesn't have time to be edited or passed
Right.
from hand to hand or department to department, or we're going to get a third party auditor to come in and take
Chop
a
it
look
up.
at this. Yeah. It needs to happen as fast and rapid as possible, because obviously we've seen with the eyes of the world watching this case, and by having that footage, I mean, hell, it was live.
Right.
It doesn't take much for you to have to make your own choice. I mean, you
Right.
see, I mean, I hate to say it, we all, not like we all know what murder looks like, but what it looks like when someone is losing their life, begging, for their life, begging for their mother, begging, I can't breathe, and you have an animal sitting on someone's neck with his hands in his pocket, with no care in the world. I mean, you know
And
what that
his
looks
feet
like.
up off the ground. So that meant that his entire body
Weight.
weight was
Mm-hmm.
on him. And that was savage,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. That was
No, it was
you know
savage. It was intentional. It was
it,
predetermined.
it, yeah, and so I was just so glad that that murder um charge, that was the big one, because now in Dante Wright, we got what, second degree manslaughter charges.
Yeah.
They're fighting
Yep.
now to upgrade those charges now, but
Yeah. No, you're right. And we know, and I think again on all of these points that everyone is bringing up, we know that there's still, like I said, there's still work to be done, and all of these things that we're discussing here. And I thank you all for sharing, and really expressing how you feel. This type of information and conversation needs to be funneled and focused, whether it be to a focus group, within our states, to get these type of things on paper and enacted some kind of way. It has to be some type of movement the same way we move together with this, movement behind George losing his life. We need to go ahead and continue this in other areas now
Was
outside of, what I'm saying, to keep that momentum pushing so that these things don't just become a thing of the wayside or just something. Oh, hey, remember when we was talking about, you know, and I'm glad you said that too, Mark. For most of us, I mean, I'm not in law enforcement. I don't know, Mark, you may be, you speak as maybe you are, and if you are, you can educate me. But I don't care where you go in any type of training. What he did, I mean, that was intentional. That was predetermined, in my opinion. To put your hands in your pocket and put the full weight of your body on the man's neck. I mean, we all know that wasn't any type of training. Carl, from Rodney King to George Floyd, America finally believed what it, yeah, not what the devil told us or what they saw.
that
It's true, Carl.
is
It's
true.
true. And
And that is true.
we're gonna hope that, the eyes of Lady Justice no longer remain blinded moving forward. So that now she can see those scales in her hand and use that sword in her other to actually, and keep that balance and keep things just. Like we saw today. Not just this one in a million because the world saw it, but hopefully this becomes permanent
Right,
moving forward.
right, right, right. Knee to the neck. What was? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Oh, I'm gonna
missed
go
your
back. I'm
word.
sorry. Let me. So knee to the neck is not a taught tactic. Hey, look,
Right,
you ain't got to tell you. I don't think you have to tell most Americans. I think even the jury, which was, to my understanding, I believe it was split. Black and white, and not
was unanimous.
right, which was unanimous. So that means that everyone saw, like you said, Mark, knee to the neck is not something that's even not even taught. It's not. It was necessary. It wasn't even necessary, and that was intentional. I mean, they murdered the man, and not leave it. Andre says, and not leave it so that each state has its own
Yes,
policy.
yes, yes.
Look again.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
I concur with that statement, 200%.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
on board with that. Yes,
that needs to
absolutely.
be across the board with
Right,
everyone.
right.
What's
Because
happening?
now because now what they doing in certain states are they are making protest laws that you
Hmm.
can I think they shot it down in Georgia, but I know in Florida if you can be ran over legally if you're
Right.
protesting, you will
Hmm.
not get SNAP benefits, student
Hmm.
loans,
Hmm.
anything like that. So we know when you see that kind of pushback and that they're trying to make this law against protesting, and they put in protesting and rioting together to silence our voices, that means we must get louder. We
Right.
must enforce. We must come together because now they see the power.
Yes.
Because George Floyd was a perfect storm, right? We were in
Hmm.
COVID, we were on
Yep.
lockdown, we had
Yep.
nowhere to go. There was no job to run to. There was no rock to hide under. The whole world had to see that. And now you saw that the every single state in our country were protesting all at once, along
Hmm.
with 10 countries. So
Right. Right.
listen, this is why they put in these protest legislation in trying to enact this, and we have to be mindful to don't let that. Definitely, in whatever state you watching, do not let that slip under the rug. I know they caught it in Georgia, but
Right. All right, Andrea. Oh Lord, there goes Florida again. Yeah, pretty
again,
much. Yeah,
again,
again.
yeah,
Yeah,
Florida and Oklahoma, if you are protesting and someone has the legal right to roll over you
run
and
up with you. Yep.
over without recourse.
Yep. So just be mindful where you at and which streets you in, and be
Yes.
careful out there, people. Just be
Ooh,
careful.
but can we
And
just let me ask a question to the audience because I
please
just
go
want to
for it.
know. I just want to know if I'm alone. Did anybody else feel any kind of joy or anything in your shanana when the handcuffs went on and the judge said remanded? And when the judge said remanded, am I the only one that felt like, ooh, the boys are waiting?
Hmm. Look, they won't even be asking him is he gonna eat all his cornbread because he's gonna be eating a whole lot of stuff that he may. It's not gonna be on his plate, that's for sure. He gonna be getting it. He gonna be getting it.
Right, Chris. I know you did. That was powerful, Mark. I mean, because I can't help it. That's what keeps the smile on my face is knowing that you are going to a jail near you, right? That
Regina
you are
crazy.
going to a jail near you, and that
Yo, y'all off the chain. I love it though. Yeah, Regina was gonna be the Cardi B song. Morgan here, no, not the tube steak. All right, y'all off the chain. Yo, I love it though. We got to blow off some steam with all of this here. Yeah,
right.
exactly. Prison justice.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then, if you ever had a loved one or you ever been in that situation and the judge hit that mantle and say remanded,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the look
Yeah.
that was on his face, and then you
Yeah.
know where he going, right? You know the steps. He's going back. He's going to the tube. He's going
Boy, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, son. It's gonna be
Bruh,
rough.
they getting ready to get up in them nooks and crannies and whatnot
Exactly.
and whatnot,
No Vaseline, no grease, no nothing, man.
no nothing.
Take
And it's
that,
just,
take that, take that.
we just like, look, keep your
Exactly,
head up.
Mark. Yeah, keep your head up. He's gonna be keeping his head up. Yeah, you right, Mark. You gonna see that light fade from his eyes for sure. Yeah, man. Hey, yo, that's why I appreciate your listeners, man. You got to make light of, we've come so far, and making me feel better, man. Because I know I was down. I
Yeah,
saw this
yeah.
dude get the business end of the due process that he denied Mr. Floyd. For that, I must admit that I felt no sorrow from. I agree.
No,
I
I
I
feel
agree.
sorrow.
None
And just
whatsoever.
know that the big homies are waiting. I know I shouldn't have joy. I'll repent later.
Nah, right. I'm going.
But
Look, I think the Lord knows what's in my heart. But yo, I'm gonna have to ask for it for later. Like
yeah,
we're gonna put this
I'm
one
gonna
on.
have to repent for this later.
Look,
But
Lord,
hey,
let me. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Right now, just
right.
let me have this
Look,
moment.
take that, take
Right,
that,
take that. Exactly,
take
take
that.
all that, man, for real. Like this, let me have this
Right.
moment.
I
Oh,
agree, Regina. We should have his face on the
yeah,
T-shirt because the
no
face,
doubt.
the look of total shock.
It
Because he was
was,
like,
it
"Who
was.
y'all talking to me?" He was looking like y'all didn't just convict me of murder, right?
Right, because I mean, he damn sure. I mean, I was sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, yo, why is he looking confused? Because I mean, he damn sure, other than clutching his pearls, I mean, he was just sitting there looking around like, all right, so which one of y'all is getting that charge? They talking to me. That
Right.
wasn't for me. Which one of y'all's taking this charge?
And
Like
we
really,
can't,
bruh.
we can't let up. We want to make sure that the rest of the three officers, is, that were there, that they get
Yeah,
charged and
yeah,
as
I
well
agree.
to the
I
due
think,
process of the law.
yeah,
You know,
I agree with that as well. I mean, it's just
right?
too much, man. But hey,
Okay, the audience
yeah,
has going.
yeah. Hey, look, I love y'all, man. Yo, y'all is
I
great.
feel like this is about to be comedy hour.
Yeah,
So we
I was
just
saying we about to lose control of this train, and we'll be here all night. Coming to the stage, Big Mark, and then we'll put Regina on next. And, you know what I'm saying? We just gonna have everybody come to the stage like the hell with it. But I enjoy it, man. I really enjoy it.
yeah.
Yeah, right. His lawyer just patted him on the back, gave him a pat on the ass. Look, bro, my bad. We'll get him on. We'll try to get him on the appeal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. You'll be fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and did you see the lawyer? He wrote his lawyer number in his hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, y'all off the
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I mean, it's a good day for Black America. We can't be complacent. We can still got to keep pushing. But
Right.
we have to, as we do as people of color, we got to find humor in everything.
Yeah,
We
you do.
find,
You do. You do.
especially white racist man, and not the color of his skin, but the racist part that comes
Right.
with the white man,
Facts.
is going to jail with the big homie.
Facts. Yeah, facts. I mean, it doesn't get no better than that. In that moment. So I'm just thankful, and I'm just thankful for all of you, for joining. Uh, and I don't mean to say your name wrong, right? He will be Satara. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but
Yeah,
you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied, my friend. Oh man, right. Hey, at the end of the day, Andrea,
We
like you
have
said,
to keep fighting. Yep.
whatever we can do, wherever all of you. First of all, thank you all for joining in from wherever you are, here in America, or we've been blessed now. We've got listeners and followers now globally. So from wherever you are, thank you. But yes, keep advocating. Keep pushing the needle. A lot of things that, although we're laughing and joking, and I appreciate you all, making light of this, because like Lisa said, this is what we do. You got to make light of the pain sometime just to get through. But advocating, all the things that we talked about in your local areas, try to get more involved. Try to get more involved and find out who's pushing the needle, and what can you do to help advocate for change. Thank you, Andrea. I really appreciate that. Thank you for
Thank you,
joining
Art.
us,
Yes.
and we just have to keep pushing that needle. Uh, you know, Alisa, you gonna hey, yeah, well, I don't know,
Listen.
Mark. I might have to
Oh,
the more you join back here, I don't know. We might have to talk offline because it sounds like you in law enforcement or something, bro. I've been looking for somebody to talk to. I got questions. So yeah, we'll work on something to get you on here. But yeah, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to
yes,
come and
we
join us as
appreciate
well.
it. Yes, we appreciate our audience.
Yes, indeed.
Whew.
Well,
I'm
with
gonna
that,
I'm gonna collect myself.
yeah, I'm gonna say with that, I couldn't have ended this conversation off any better. I thank you all. Uh, please, if you haven't already, don't worry about it. I know, Mark. I know, because she's been trying and we've been talking. We'll get you on here somewhere. You get that permission slip signed. Wink, wink. Get that handled. And we'll go ahead and take care of it. Here. And thank you, Regina. We appreciate you too, Costa Rican. I appreciate you. Great show. Thank you so much, Andrea. We have to pay attention at the local and state levels so they do not pass laws and policy that disenfranchise Black and brown people. And you're 100% right. I mean, the biggest takeaway, I think, I'll leave with this, that I think we all know now, is not necessarily the president, but just in what Andrea said right there, in your own backyard. Really work to make that change in your own backyard and in your own home, in your local municipalities, so that we are no longer disenfranchised as Black and brown people in our communities, because we are we play a very huge part, and we're a very vibrant part of these communities. And we've seen with our vote, we can make ourselves heard. So now we need to take that locally and not
Exactly.
only make ourselves heard, but be expected that, they're going to have to speak to us each and every time something goes on. And we really have to do that. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Miss Riddick, Shelly Shell, one of our proud sponsors, Riddick Entertainment. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. And we're always here. This is what Two Mics Up is all about. We want to allow anyone, no matter what your opinion is, it's valid. Whether I
Mhm.
agree with it, whether I like it, whether Lisa likes it, agrees with it, I mean, let's talk about it. Let's be adults and let's talk about it. Don't have to like it to love it, but we can agree to disagree, and we'll keep it pushing. Respect each
Mhm.
other as human beings. Yeah, you're right, Quan. We got to pay attention to that. We got to pay attention to that.
Yep.
Yep. Real talk, no chaser. You're right here. Two
Yep.
mics up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
for those of you who are new that I haven't seen before, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom. Make sure you hit the bell. You don't want to miss out on anything. We've got some great things coming up. We'll be on tomorrow. King's Corner. Hey, Captain Peterson is always welcome on this show. I don't know Captain Peterson from a hole in the wall can of spray paint, bubble wrap, boogie. I don't know Captain Peterson, but he's welcome here. I just want him to, if he comes, it's going to be real straight talk. You know what I mean? I will allow him to come on. I will not allow it to be abusive. I want us to carry ourselves in the manner. Thank you, Regina. I want us to carry ourselves in the manner, like we are here, but your questions will be allowed to be asked. We will ask him, and how he chooses to answer is totally on him, but he's welcome here. No problem at all. If anybody has a number for me or has some information that I can, that you can send me, I'd be happy to reach out to him, and I would love to have him come and sit here with Lisa and I and our Two Mics Up listeners, and let's just chop it up. Let's just get to the real of it. I mean, let's do it. Let's do what we do. So, like I said, combo. Yeah, yeah. Don't you hell that we need to have spell check on this thing. It sucks. But yes, Farrah, yes. So like I say, we'll be back again tomorrow. Check us out. I'll be on with Quan Ellis and my good friend Clifton Durham. Our show sponsors, two of our show sponsors. Thank you, Michelle. Perfect. Yeah, if you can, please do. I would love to reach out to him and have him on. And Michelle, we need to talk too because I was trying to get a hold of you for tomorrow night too. You a sponsor and you doing a big thing in the community, and I would like to have you on King's Corner tomorrow if you are available. But we'll talk offline. But tune in, everybody. King's Corner. We also have an open mic segment for those of you who may not have finished talking about how you feel. You have some funny things or whatever, some other things you want to get off your chest. You can check that out. I'll be posting that again later on tonight or tomorrow. Open mics, you can call, leave a video. How do you? Oh, okay, Regina. Hey, we'll talk. I'll DM you afterwards, and we can talk about that. And I'd love to have you as a sponsor as well. I love what you're doing with Legal Shield. I just love your energy. You off the chain. Real talk. I love it. I love it. I just love the energy. Let's keep that 100.
I know. I feel a connection with Regina. I feel like
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. I feel like you're right. Like kindred spirits. Like I'm.
Right.
Yeah, Regina. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll get to all of that.
My kind of people. Like.
Yeah, it's my kind of people. I like that. I like it. I like it. So yeah, I don't want to keep rambling,
Right.
but I will say, like I said, just tune in. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. We'll be back for more. We have, like I said, King's Corner tomorrow. We'll have a new episode dropping each and every Monday. We'll be back again live next week. Kind of Southern Belle. Yeah, she's such a lady. Such a lady. Yes, indeed. Follow us online at www.2mikes.com. Good night, Andrea. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
You can also follow us across our social media platforms, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 2mikes up. And like we always do at this time, because my sister is over there dancing, I feel like I want to dance with her. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Mike's out.
Stay black, y'all.
Stay black. All right, Regina. Yeah. You must not listen, Mike, because I cuss a little too, and I get in trouble all the time. Talk to y'all later. Yeah. Bye.
Bye, y'all.